Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Caroline and I live in my semi-detached house on the east coast of England with my husband and youngest daughter and a few pets. Welcome. Today is a garden tour. I'm just showing you a little radish that my eldest daughter bought me for Christmas last year that I rather like. This is a full garden tour of our garden, starting with the strawberries. We've still got a few that we can pick. A few still ripening up, so we're doing okay with those this year, and it was quite a good idea putting them in those pots. This is my bramble bush. It's a thornless bramble. Oh, and that's my clematis that I'm just showing you there because I chopped it right back and it seems to have started to sprout again. There's some snapdragons. So these are my peas. Now I've picked these peas in pod form excuse me, as like mange too, and I've got a freezer full of them, and because I've picked them they've started to flower again, so every time I think that I've had enough of them they start to flower, so I find some more, so I'm going to have to keep them for a little bit longer, but they've done brilliant. That was a courgette, and here are my cauliflowers that are really taking off all of a sudden. This is some wild rocket that I've planted and some of the Chinese leaves, and also some pumpkins. I think they're either pumpkins or the patty pans, and under those pop bottles are my Savoy cabbages that I've just planted. I actually pulled out the broccoli because it was purple sprouting and it really was taking up a lot of room for what you got off it, so I thought it's better to sacrifice that and put something else that's going to give us more food in its place. We have a lot of flowers in our garden as well as vegetables because we like the idea of an ecosystem, and it helps with the bumblebees and the other pollinators to pollinate all the fruit and veg, and it seems to be really working this year. That's a little cherry bush that I planted this year, but I've not had anything off it just yet. But these are 3 apple trees that our youngest daughter planted about 2 years ago, and they're beginning to do really well this year. So hopefully we'll get quite a nice little harvest off those. We shall see. That's our barn in the background. I did a full tour on that the other week, so if you want to see it, it is on this channel. There's some daisies and some snapdragons and more cosmos, and at the back are gladioli, but I think they were too shaded because they haven't flowered at all. But I've left them because they still look pretty just as they are. So this is the other side of that big bed as we walked down, and that's the autumn raspberries that seem to be doing really well. In fact, I picked one this morning, just a bit strange, but never mind. And here again are my Savoy cabbages just hidden under there, well protected for the time being. Okay, so these are my daylilies, which have been really beautiful this year. I keep deadheading them all the time. Seems to help with the growth. Everything wants to grow to seed, so if you can deadhead it as much as you can, you'll get more and more flowers. And next to this is a nasturtium that I moved from the big bed where the Savoy cabbages are now. It was smothering quite a lot of stuff, so it's in a little bit of shock at the moment, but I'm sure it'll come round. These are my carnival runner beans, which are like a salmon pink colour, and they've just begun to flower, so we shall see how we get on with those. They've got really tall though, but I've seen 5 ladybirds in this garden. There's one for you, 1 with 2 spots and 4 with 5 spots, so that's nice. And the runner beans go right up into the air, as you can see. There's our barn in the distance, and this side again, more carnival runner beans. They're really, really pretty pink, just for a change rather than the red. And then into the greenhouse. This was my granddad's greenhouse. It's not very big, it's only 6 feet by about 4 feet, I think. So I've rammed as much in as I possibly can. And anybody that's been here before knows I've had trouble with the tomatoes, but finally I've got some fruit that are beginning to grow. Lots of flowers, so we'll see how we get on. And that's a beef tomato just there, my first one I've ever grown, so we'll see how that goes. There's another one just growing there as well, tiny little tomatoes. But let's see how they get on, I'm sure they'll be fine. There's some more Savoy cabbages. I think I'm feeding the whole world with Savoy cabbages, and in here I've put some kohlrabi and some pak choi that actually are up now after 5 days. These are my cherry tomatoes. They again are doing really well, and I've got one that's turned orange now, so the next couple of days it should be ready to pick. And on this side I have my cucumber plants. I've got 2 or 3 cucumbers growing on this side, and then I've got 3 plants growing together, which isn't the best idea, but I didn't have much room, so they seem to have a few as well. And just in this corner are my cucamelons, and they are beginning to fruit. They're tiny at the moment, but it won't be long before we're getting some off there. If you've not tried a cucamelon before, they're a little bit like a lemon and a cucumber crossed. There it is, there's a little tiny fruit. And they sort of pop in your mouth. They're really special and quite nice if you have a fizzy drink with them. So back through into the back of the garden. Here are the carrots that Fifi showed you how to plant the other week. They're doing well, and these are the original ones that we put in. They're still not quite ready. I pulled one up the other day and it was very long and thin, but not fat enough really. Your carrots, you need to pick them when they start to push upwards and show the tops. And this is another set that we've planted since as well, in the same way. This has got beetroot, Savoy cabbages, and I think there was something else in there. There's a nasturtium as well, a couple of nasturtiums I think. The beetroot doesn't seem to do very well in that bed though. And my courgettes, I have got loads of courgettes. We've just had pizzas with courgettes on, we've got that many, which sounds strange, but it was absolutely delicious. Cooked in butter with garlic as well. Laid on the top of a sourdough homemade base, and then grated cheese on top. Obviously tomato underneath as well. Absolutely lovely. So there they are, my courgettes. This is a nice little floral arrangement that I've got on this side of the rocking bench. There's the rocking bench. As you can see, they're really filling out now. There's my clematis. I've had that years and it seems to be really doing well this year as well. There's our little pot sink. I'm just deadheading some of the last of the daisies on this side, bless them. Pulled a bit extra out there, I think, by accident, never mind. It'll survive. These are some pots of petunias that again are really filling out. And these are our summer raspberries, which I've had quite a few from. Keep picking them. There's another little pumpkin there. More leeks. I tend to prefer leeks to onions, and with it being not such a big garden, I try to fit in what I can. More Savoy cabbages, we'll see how they get on. They have been covered with pop bottles since I put them in. This is another courgette. And this is the Three Sisters system, which is my sunflowers, 3 pumpkins and runner beans in between, and it's doing really well. The sunflowers, as you can see, 2 or 3 of them have got really tall, and the beans have actually gone past the tallest sunflower, so that's good as well. And that's the garden tour. Remember, you are a human being, not just a human doing, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.